Okay, hopefully you should all be able to see a boring screen with a cloaked Astero. So let me know, just type in, let me know that that audio is working. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, so we'll get started. So I planned for this to be, under an hour. Um, just a short introduction. My name is Maxwell Kervora. I'm a relatively new member of the Signal Cartel. So my goal today is to kind of teach a advanced class, kind of a 102 level class here on Thera mapping. So if you joined me, I don't know, it over a month ago. We did kind of a basic class. It took us probably an hour and 38 minutes to remove a bookmark and add a bookmark, which I did that purposely. Kind of wanted to go over everything, how to set up, Allison, how to set up the tripwire mask, how to set up the Eve Scout, and kind of go over just the fundamentals that are on the DII kind of forum post about how to make, how to do the Thera mapping. So it's very important to understand the basics. So I kind of said, you know what, we don't want to spend an hour and 38 minutes doing this. I was talking, of course, but I want to focus today more on speed, efficiency, how to reduce the scanning times here. So part of this is I am being a relatively new member to Signal Cartel. I think I'm pretty good at what I do, but I'm not an expert. I am not the fastest. So I wanted to kind of share what I do and then hopefully kind of pick your brains at the end and kind of if you have any suggestions. My way is not the perfect way. My way is a little bit risky, but I'll go into, it's what I feel comfortable with. Everybody has their own kind of skill level in piloting. There are certain things I am comfortable with and I am not. But kind of the format for today is we're going to map live one bookmark. Hopefully there is one free. I would imagine there is. And then I wanted to kind of end the stream and move back into Discord and create just a, time depending, just a short discussion. Kind of pick everybody's brains and kind of, like I said, learn myself at, what I can do to potentially improve my speed and efficiency here. So kind of the intro, to just mapping Thera. We know being in Signal Cartel, we have some veterans that have joined us. Thank you very much. Then, sorry, I'm reading a message. Mazibi, can't see the chat. And I'm reading in SEA Campus right now. Are you getting an error, like saying it's offline? And sorry, I'm trying to keep my windows open. Well, just to kind of keep time going, Mazibi, you're welcome. And if I could be saying your name wrong, apologies. You're welcome to chat within Discord with the other folks there. I can't hear you, but hopefully someone can help. Or, if I'm doing something wrong, let me know. But anyway, so as Signal Cartel members, we offer two main services to the greater Eve community. One is Eve Scout, and let me kind of pull that up here. We all know this very popular website that we offer as a service. And also the other main service that we offer is obviously the search and rescue, rescuing people in wormholes. So very important. This is a service that we always want to keep maintained and accurate, as we go. So today, I'm not going to go too much into the foundations, and that is something I can always help you with. anybody in Signal Cartel can always help you with the foundations and setting up. So if you have never mapped a Thera bookmark here, that's totally fine. Some stuff will kind of go over your head, but this should kind of just be a sponge, absorb the information, and it'll all kind of make sense. It took me a few weeks to really comprehend, what we do here. But the bottom line is I'm going to stray away today from the Signal Cartel recommended way that's on our DII, Directory of Important Information. This is a way that, like I was kind of saying before, that I've developed with my own piloting skill. You're going to eventually develop your own style that you're comfortable with. I've seen a lot of different styles, and that's great. And I hope we can kind of share that. And like I said, I hope I can learn. So, kind of first, what I wanted to go into is ships. Ships. If you're a nerd like me, you don't have to, but you have a dedicated ship that only does Thera scanning. Is this expected? Absolutely not. Remember, you can map Thera in our freebie T1 frigates. You can map in a T2 covert ops. You can map in an Astero like I do. Again, this is what I use because this is what I'm most comfortable with. I also want to talk about later, some people do it in Interceptor, which my skill level doesn't merit that, but I think that's fascinating. Am I going to try it in the future? Absolutely. So just to go over fits. Again, there's no perfect fit for the way to do this. This is just what I'm going to share. This is an extremely safe ship. So I like the Astero because it has a big capacitor. We all know that Thera is a gigantic system. As we talk about speed and efficiency, if I am warping from one side to the other, I'm dropping out of warp in a T2 covert op ship or a T1 frigate, just because I don't have the capacitor to do that. The Astero, thank you to the Sisters of Eve, have a large enough capacitor that I can get through most places relatively safely. So, some important points on my fit is I have 3 warp core stabilizers. Is that too much? Maybe. But I'm pretty much with 3 not going to get pointed. So I feel pretty safe navigating through Thera. I have rigs, these low friction nozzle joints, to get me under a 2-second align time. Now that's huge if you're not familiar with align time and the mechanics. Just in a nutshell, 2 seconds is kind of the sweet spot. If you are under 2 seconds, it is very hard for ships. It is almost impossible for our friends Volta here in Thera to instantly kind of blap you and shoot you into the small frigates that we pilot. I can go a little bit later on exactly the server ticks. I don't want to now, but 2 seconds, again, is the magic number. I have my one of each scanning mod here to help with my scanning speed. And again, this is a ship I'm not using for hacking. This is a ship I'm really not using for, sewing and tending caches, but this is what I'm comfortable. And of course, the cloak. Is this a little too safe? Maybe. I don't know. We'll talk about it, kind of later. But again, you can use any ship you're comfortable piloting. So, let's talk about, and we are so fortunate enough to have the author in our channel that joined us here, is this Thera scan tool. This is the tool to rule them all. It doesn't get any better than this, and we'll kind of go over a little bit what this means. I'm going to link this in the Twitch stream. Good question, Trouble. So my other rig that I have is a scanning one. The gravity capacitor, it increases my scan probe strength. I honestly want to get rid of it because one thing I didn't go over, and I'm glad you said that, is my warp speed. My 5 AU warp speed. Now, To be the most efficient, again, I want the highest warp speed. We know that T2 covert op ships have, I think by default, what, 8? Interceptors have 8, I believe. Exactly. Slow. So probably something I want to do is maybe, put I forget what they're called, hyperspatials. I think that'll add 1 AU warp speed. But as we're going back and forth in Thera, 1 AU warp speed can make a difference. If that can save 10 seconds, overall, it all makes a difference. So yeah, do I need this? Probably not. But again, this is an old fit I was working on. So talking more about the TheraScan tool. So this is huge, and thank you so much for developing this. There's no reason not to use this. This is just a beautiful tool, beautiful system, makes everything easy. I spent an hour and 38 minutes typing in bookmark formats, and which is great. I truly understood the foundation. But again, everyone should use this. It's perfect, and I'll stop talking about it. But basically has 5 sections. So step 1 is importing signatures. So real easy. So part of Thera mapping is we need to know what to map. So I'm going to do it, but this first section is where I import all my bookmarks from Tripwire, from my probe scanner. It'll automatically, magically compare and see what is new, what is old, and it'll tell me what to do, right? Can't be any easier. After I've imported the information, the scanned signatures, I'll click on that'll tell me what to do, and we'll go over that. Bookmarks. So bookmark maintenance. We are human and we make mistakes, and I am guilty of accidentally deleting bookmarks that I shouldn't have. Another fantastic tool, and we'll do this live, where I will import all the current Thera bookmarks into here, and under manage, well, there's no information in here yet, it'll tell me what is accurate, what bookmarks might be old. It should give me a perfect snapshot of kind of making sure, like I said, the entire process is maintained correctly. So, and then look at this, instructions right here. Everything, again, you could ever need is right here, step by step. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. This is a link to the guide on the forum. And this literally goes from start to finish, how to do this. Technically, you don't need anything else. I'm lying a little bit. I guess we need the tripwire mask. But this walks you through it from start to finish as if you never have mapped a Thera wormhole bookmark before. This really is all you need. Like I said, just an amazing tool. We could end the class now and you'd all be fine. But I guess let's do it live just to kind of show you. So I guess let's do it. So we see I'm here in space. I'm in a random safe. I honestly don't know where I am, but let's kind of start the process. So without going into all the backup, I've background information. I've gotten rid of every signature. It looks like I've been scanning some today, but I've gotten rid of all the, pre-scanned, anomalies that show up, all the ore sites and the combat sites. So I just have cosmic signatures in here. So let's import. So, to be the fastest and the most efficient, again, with Thera mapping, we want to know Control C, Control V. If you don't know what Control C, Control V, that's okay. But we're going to do that. You should always have that almost on autopilot. So I'm going to get back here, close up here. Let's start importing the signatures. Right? It tells you what to do exactly. Couldn't be easier. So I'm switching back and forth here a lot, and one of the main takeaways we'll get from here is kind of the multitasking and switching back and forth between your client, your Eve client, and your different tools. We can see I have Thera, the tripwire mask set up. I have the tool. I have Allison, as we should always have Allison up. And then I have the Eve Scout to kind of check myself. So where was I at? So let's start with the probe scanner. I'm going to hit, I have one selected, doesn't matter. I'm going to hit Control A. That's select all. That selected every single signature, whether it was scanned down already, and the tool knows and can differentiate, between, what is working, what is not. So Control A, Control C to copy, switch back to my scanner, my Thera scan tool, Control V. And I actually just messed up because that was from my probe scanner. Thank you. Going to paste all of that information right into exactly where it says. Rule number 1, follow directions, right? So the first box was from Tripwire. So I have my Tripwire. These are all the currently scanned. I'm going to select the top one. I'm going to hold Shift down, select them all. Same thing, Control C, Control, I'm back here in Tripwire, Control V, and it looks like that didn't correctly paste everything. Sometimes I have to refresh, and it didn't copy the information correctly. There we go. There we go. So this has all been programmed, and people way smarter than myself has built this tool to differentiate this information. So I have all the information here. I'm going to click on Scan Signatures. This will tell me exactly what to do, hopefully. Yes, perfect. So now I have a list of every signature. Wow, yeah, this does need some work, which is great. Every signature, if it is highlighted in blue or orange, that's something I need to work on. If it is not highlighted, just in gray, that means the signatures. Oh, can you? Okay, you can Control A in Tripwire too. Perfect. If they're not highlighted, then these should be accurate bookmarks. So there is this now this is hard to work with right here, right? The way it's viewed. This is alphabetical, which is fantastic. We have this magical little sorting option here, working order. So this will automatically sort all the highlighted signatures to what I need to do and in the order. Perfect, right? So we can see the orange. And I'm not going to go too much into the nomenclature and the formatting. We can do that at another time or even individually, but this is more just about how to use this tool. So we know that in Thera, we want to get rid of old expired bookmarks first, old signatures first. Now we know we need to physically check them, because even though the tools are telling us that and comparing and contrasting the different signatures, today I'm not going to do that. That's bad. You don't do what I do today, but we should always work through from the top. ETY, MNA, so on, those 5. We should work on those first. That's an easy kind of method. Removing a bookmark is fairly easy. But again, we're not going to do that today. So I am going to start, though, assuming I've worked through these, we're going to map live this very first signature, AQJ. And if I would do the whole thing today, I would go through all this. Looks like there's 5 of them. So the next beautiful thing about this tool is it is built to where if you click on any information in this tool, it'll automatically copy that information into your clipboard to where I can paste that anywhere. So as we all know, and the third most beautiful thing about this tool is it goes from left to right on how I work on a bookmark. So there is missing information here because I haven't scanned it down. But as we all know, first I need to announce in the Eve Scout Intel channel that I'm working on this. So I'm going to click here. All I have to do is left click once. And you see that little clipboard? That means it's now copied there. So I can paste that anywhere. So I'm going to be a good Signal Cartel member. I have my Eve Scout Intel channel open. I'm going to Control V. I'm going to let everybody know in the channel that I am working on this bookmark, this signature. I don't know what it is. It is probably a wormhole, as we know in Thera. But hopefully no one else is working on it. So I'm going to do my thing. I'm uncloaking, launching my probes. We all know kind of how to scan. Let's find where's AQJ. And apologies, you have to work. Watch me do this. Set up my size there a little bit. Now, again, part of being, and I'm reading as I'm talking here, part of being the most efficient and cutting down time here is, one of the biggest takeaways here is I want to always be moving. So I'm going to start scanning, do my normal, and it's not big enough. Either way, I'm starting my scanning, my normal procedure here. I'm going to warp. So I'm going to warp somewhere close to this. So when I'm ready to get to this signature, I'm close. So I'm going to pick any one of these existing bookmarks. Now don't forget, any signature is always near a celestial. So I'm picking, looks like there's a station here. I'm going to just warp to 100 to this planet. Now I am cloaked, shouldn't be an issue, but remember, I'm trying to do 2-3 things at once. The key here is to always be moving. It's great because when you're always moving, you're less of a target. Remember, sitting in space is dangerous, but we want to, if you're always doing something, you're being the most efficient, right? Isn't that the general rule? So great. So I have this partially scanned down. See, I am warping here, so I'm always doing a lot of different things. Now I'm going to take that a step further. I know this is a wormhole, right? Probably dictated it was going to be a wormhole anyways, but now I know. I haven't finished scanning it down, but I'm going to start the tripwire mask right now, and I'm going to feed the information into the tripwire mask as I go. So what do we say it was? AQJ904. Now, I don't know anything else yet. I don't know the type. I don't know where it goes. So I'm just going to keep, I'm not going to add anything till I'm 100% finished with it. But I'm going to keep this open. Okay, now this is kind of my thing. I think this TheraScan tool is technically made for you to finish every, complete all the information and then enter into tripwire. Again, you're going to develop your own style. This is just what works for me. So I'm going to continue to scan this down. And it's scanning. Remember, I've warped to a celestial close, so when I get to this, it's just going to be a short warp. So reading off my outline here. Okay, so I've scanned this down. This AQJ904, I can now warp to it. So I'm recalling my probes, cloaking, or I'm already cloaked, closing my system map. Now here's what I'm going to do. This is what Maxwell Carvora does. You're going to figure out what you're going to do. Remember, I'm in a safe ship. I pretty much can't be pointed. I have that 2-second align time. Now I am cloaked. I'm going to warp to 10. So I feel confident enough warping to 10. Is that dangerous? Could there be a huge fleet here? Absolutely. There might be. But this is the risk I'm willing to take based on my personal piloting skill. If there's a bubble for some reason, I'm going to be able to warp away. I'm going to get stopped and warp away. So I'm here. So now I got the next piece of information that I needed by warping to 10. And I'm looking at the wormhole type. We know we can click show info. I needed this K162. So before I enter, again, I'm going to enter in as I go. But right now I'm going to do another risky behavior that, again, this is a Maxwell Carvora thing, is I'm going to orbit 2500. And I'll explain that why in a second. But I'm going to enter my new piece of information in my Therascan tool. I know this is a K162. You don't have to enter this in. I'll explain why you don't after we're done here. But I just like to, just to be good. So I'm going to enter that in my Therascan tool. I'm going to enter that into my tripwire. Again, I still have a lot of information I need, but I have everything that I know now. Now I'm slowly orbiting 2500. Now here's why I like orbiting 2500 is I am far enough away to where I won't get decloaked, but I'm close enough. If I suddenly get a fleet that is coming, I feel like I can jump through and get away. God forbid. But in that time that it takes on my warping to 10 to orbiting 2500, that's that kind of 10 seconds, 20 seconds that it gives me to enter in that new information. So I'm not going to do any bookmarks yet. Okay, so again, with this Therascan tool, I am working left to right. So this kind of tells me what is the next information I need. Is I need the far system. What is the destination, or what is the system on the other side of this wormhole? I don't know that. It's all I jump through. So let's do that. So I'm slowly. Yes, trouble. Right when I got here, I did slow. I did show info, and I did kind of take a look at the information for the tripwire mask. And I'll do that before. You could do it on the other side as well. Okay. So I am here on the other side of this wormhole. Yay, it's a Triglavian invaded system. That's okay. So here's my other risky thing I'm going to do. Is I'm going to do the same thing I did before. So remember, I'm in a random point. I have my 60-second cloak timer on. I'm going to go back and I'm going to orbit 2500. Okay, I'm going to orbit 2500. I'm going to launch my probes because I need to scan the signature that I'm at. I don't know the signature that I'm at right now, but I need to know that information, and I'm of course going to cloak. So I have my sound up really high because I'm going to be working off other windows at 2500, which is very dangerous. But again, I'm comfortable with that. My sound is up. If I hear someone coming through, another ship coming through the wormhole, I'll be able to know, and I'll switch screens real quick. So look at my sheet, make sure I'm covering everything. So here's the cheat. Here is the unwritten rule about the cosmic signature on the other side. So it will take me time. And again, we're working on speed and efficiency here. So it will take me some time, not long, but it'll take me some time to scan down the cosmic signature that I'm at on this. Remember, that's part of mapping here. When I'm mapping this in Tripwire, I need to know where I'm at and the signature that I'm currently at on the other side, and that's also information in the Therascan tool. So I can possibly skip this step, okay? But you have to be really good about this. So I have my probe scanner. For the class's sake, I'm going to get rid of all of the extra, the combat sites here. So I'm left with 3 signatures that I'm going to sort by distance. Now, it didn't work in this situation. So I'm going to answer this question. If it's being rolled, do you still jump through, or is it dependent on the other side? So this, I hope I'm going to answer your question, Trouble. If there is any kind of activity here with, Thera scanning, with when we're doing our kind of processes here, Signal Cartel, as you know, Trouble, does not expect you to die to do this function of the corporation. If there's any kind of activity, I'm not going to really take part in this kind of activity. But if it is, if there is, I can see if the mass has been, destabilized. Sure, I'm going to go forward, with the action. I'm pretty comfortable in navigating through New Eden. But yeah, basically, if there is any kind of activity, like here, I see this magnate right now. In this situation for the class, I'm going to stay here. But I'm going to just pass over it. I hope that kind of answered, what you were asking. So, in normal situations with this magnate right here, I probably would have warped away. But we'll kind of see what this person does, and he might actually decloak me. And he didn't. Great. Okay. So here's the cheat. I want to go back to kind of the cheat here with the distance. So in a lot of situations, most situations, I need to find out what signature I'm at. And as we know, we don't know what signature that this worm, even though I'm physically at it, I've never been in the system, so I don't know exactly where I'm at. So the rule here is if there is a signature that is under 5 AU from you, statistically, that is most likely the signature you're at. Now, the fine print of that is you can assume that if there is more than one signature under 5 AU from you, I have to scan it down. So kind of give an example. I don't know if that made sense. So if there's one cosmic signature that is say for example, 1 AU from you, if there's another signature that is 6 AU from you, I don't have to scan. People much smarter than me have tested this, and I can just pop that information right into the Thera scan tool. I can pop that information right into Tripwire. Again, if there is one or more signatures that are under 5 AU, I have to be a good Signal Cartel member, and I have to scan it down. In this case right now, there are none that are under 5 AU from me. Right, what ZB said is, it's always good, especially when you're starting, to always scan down just to be safe and also to get in the practice. But like I said, so we see these signatures. This one that is close is again probably the signature, but again, we offer this service to the greater community, so I have to be a good member and scan it down. So I am just going to scan down where I'm at, and we all know how to do this. I have my little icon, blah blah blah, and I should be pretty easy. Oh, yikes. And I kind of got that check. There is a kind of a cheat guide in the Eve Scout Intel channel, and it is, let me see, I'll link it to everybody here. This cheat sheet. Well, perfect. This has kind of some of the shortcuts that we can use to help reduce our speed and increase our efficiency when we're mapping Thera. So perfect. So we can see I haven't finished this wormhole. I don't have it 100% scanned, but here's the rule. I know that's it. That's the closest to me. Probability, and we can see it's close to where I'm at. I could continue scanning this. Being a good Signal Cartel member, you probably should, especially when you're starting. But I know that that's the signature that I'm at. Again, anything I can do to save a few seconds here, save a few seconds there, I'm going to do, because again, I personally feel comfortable with this. So let's start entering that information. So what is the Thera scan? Or you know what, let's do Tripwire. I now have everything I need to enter into Tripwire. Okay? So I know, leads. Where did this system, and I'm switching back and forth, apologies. So, well, obviously it's hidden because it's a triglavian system, but I know it's this Waru system. So I'm going to enter that in. Perfect. Now here's the ID. I know that this is UVS 470. And the type, I know on my overview right here. I'm going to check my info just to look at mass and stability. T458. Perfect. So that's it. I am done with Tripwire. Okay, this is showing up. This is now going to show up under the Eve Scout website, in a few. This is going to show up for everyone to see now, but I still want to use the Thera scan tool to make my bookmarks. So we knew, and what did I say it was? UVS 470. And then the type was a T458. So look at this. Look at how amazing. Now, sidestep a little bit. This is very dangerous. I am not looking at my Eve Online screen. I am 2,500 away from a wormhole that I've already seen other people do. Do not be doing this. You can also right-click onto the system name. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so I have everything I need, again, working left to right. So here is the bookmark already perfectly formatted. I'm just going to left-click once, get an Eve. I'm going to right-click on my overview on the wormhole itself. I already have my folder set up. Control V, boom. So I'm in the destination system with the destination format. My expiry is 2 days. We love that. Hit submit. That's done. Perfect. So I'm going to warp back through. Oh, do I have my scanners in? Perfect. Go back to my TheraScan tool. I now have the bookmark format that I can copy on the Thera side. Go back to Eve. I am back in Thera. I'm still in my 60-second cloak timer. Save location. Control V, perfectly formatted. I mean, how amazing is that? I'm going to do something that I don't recommend doing. I just love to double click in space, use my little micro warp drive trick, one cycle. Oop, I shouldn't have done that. Hit my probes. Then I would have hit cloak if I didn't have the activation delay. And I am all set, I'll be honest, to start my next one. Let me wait till that cycles. Now the last part, it's already given you right here in the chat column. We know the format to tell everybody that we have successfully, where I'm at, mapped that system in Tripwire. We've told everybody here, did I do the right channel? Yes. That wormhole is now perfectly bookmarked in the perfect format, and that only took 41 minutes, but that's okay. That's okay. So I now, like I said, I'm warping away from this wormhole. I have my probe scanners out. I'm cloaked. I will go to the TheraScan tool. I'm not going to do it today, but I would technically start working on IPA. I would click that, drop that into the Eve Scout Intel channel, and I'm in a good space, good spot where I can start mapping that. Today I'm not going to. I'm going to recall my probes. And then kind of move on. So that's it. We all know how to map the bookmarks. We're utilizing that tool. And again, as I use this tool, now it doesn't instantly update. So if you come back in a half an hour, you're going to want to re-import your signatures in just to make sure, what's different. Again, wormholes are being rolled all the time, especially at this point of the day. So what I want to do here then is get back into Eve, go over a few takeaways, and then I want to go back into the Discord channel, and I have a few questions. If you want to take part, you don't have to, but I kind of want to have a discussion, on, like I was saying at the beginning, kind of want to learn, see if you guys have any suggestions for me, and also kind of pick your brains on this activity there. But I'll stay in Twitch for now, I have kind of 4 takeaways. I want everybody, hopefully they got, from this class is, the first one I always talk about, ABM. Always be moving. Okay, the more you're moving, if you're always moving, then you are in theory being perfectly efficient. And then again, as I said before, if you're moving, you're not a target sitting in space. Again, we're cloaked and we're relatively safe, in our bookmark safes there. But also another point, actually, I forgot to put in here is if you want to be an elite Thera wormhole scanner, I am not. Remember how I kind of warped to a celestial at 100? You're going to want to probably make a bookmark, your own personal bookmarks at every celestial, or I should say every planet. Just somewhere around a safe that you can always be moving to. Again, warping to 100 at a planet is in 99 out of 100 times. Is that safe? Yes. But again, why risk it if you don't have to? I have not made those bookmarks. At some point I will. So anyways, always be moving is the first takeaway. The second takeaway is multitasking. We all probably have a job where we multitask in the real world. To be the most efficient in Thera mapping, we want to always have a good system. I am fortunate enough to have 2 monitors where I can be switching to this information on another monitor. Right now for the Twitch stream, I'm just all tabbing and switching screens, but you want to learn to, kind of develop that system where as soon as you get a new piece of information, when to pop that in, okay, how to effectively switch between your Eve client and your web browsers, and knowing, like I said, when to be able to efficiently put into Tripwire and the TheraScan tool the information you need to successfully make those bookmarks. And then my last takeaway is just again to harp on it, and I know I've said it 1,000 times, this TheraScan tool, you should bookmark it, you should keep it. There's nothing else like it. There was a Google spreadsheet that I used to use, that the Corp used years ago, that kind of did a very similar thing where it just had columns set up. One column you did all the tripwire stuff, one column you did the probe scanner signatures, and it was perfect. But this has everything you could ever need in a web format that's so easy. My only complaint, Mizibi, and again, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, is put your name on it. Take some credit. This is perfect. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get rid of a bookmark. Okay, yeah, let's pick one. So here's what I'm gonna do. Now I've been doing this for 40 minutes, so I'm gonna actually refresh to clear everything out. Because I'm gonna start from new. I don't know if people have been scanning while I have, but I'm gonna drop my probe scanner stuff in. I'm going to go back to my tripwire. Where is it at? Do my control A, my control C. Hopefully this is accurate. You know what? Actually, sorry, I'm switching here. I'm going to refresh this just in case. Perfect. Okay, so sort my working order. Let's pick one to clear real quick. We'll do the CXJ. I'm going to click here to announce to everybody I think this, I'm basically telling them I think this signature is gone, but remember, we're being good Signal Cartel members and we're going to physically warp there to check. So I'm looking at my bookmarks. I'm going on CXJ here. We can warp to 100, we can warp to 50, we can warp to 30. Again, I'm not going to want to warp to 0. So let's check this one. This is a little bit of a long warp. So I'm going to my people. I just have my user interface where I've combined my probe scanner and my people and places in one. Not everybody does that. Again, that just works for me. So I do have my Eve Scout Thera online, as I always do. I'm going to open that to, and I've kind of hidden all the extra information that I don't need for this. But again, you do what works for you here. So we're warping, and we're warping, and we're going to warp to on grid where this, what are we working on again? CXJ. Oh, I can always look in the Intel channel to find out. So perfect. So first, I'm going to look at my overview. I don't see a wormhole there. I'm going to kind of zoom out. I see the signature there. By me, I don't see. So I have successfully 100% confirmed that this wormhole, or whatever this wormhole was, is not there. So remember, when I'm removing a bookmark, I need to remove this bookmark. But remember, the person who made this bookmark, and we can actually look, CXJ was Carrie Frog. Carrie Frog made a bookmark on the other side. Right, warping at 5 AU. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. So remember, I need to delete the bookmark that's on the other side. So I'm looking at my CXJ. I can tell in this the perfect bookmark format that at one point this wormhole, when it was still there, led to this system, J152143. So I know in this solar system column, this says where the bookmark is. So there's a bookmark somewhere that exists in this folder, and J152143. So I'm going to kind of scroll down. I'm going to start from the top. I have it sorted alphabetically. I'm looking for, again, what? 152143. So I'm going to kind of look, where is there a bookmark that is in 152143 that is not in this system? I found it. Perfect. Right click. Remove. Okay. I'm going to remove the bookmark that is in the system, the CXJ. I can right click here. I can right click in space. Doesn't matter. But don't forget, we also have to remove it in Tripwire. So it's not going to be on our beautiful Eve Scout website. So what do we say? CXJ. There it is. Clicking on it, deleting, done. But don't forget, I need to announce right here, left clicking on these CXJ with the 2 hyphens, clicking on that, announcing that in the Intel channel. It's done. So the last takeaway that I want to go through here is statistics. I ran 10 scans myself. I timed myself. Now, again, I am not the fastest. I am not the slowest, but I wanted to share with maybe kind of a benchmark if you ever get real nerdy like me and start timing yourself when you scan bookmarks. So I did 10 scans. Again, that is an extremely small sample. That is not going to be perfectly accurate. But with 10 scans, it took me 3 minutes and 52 seconds on average when I had to scan the other side, that kind of on the destination wormhole, when I had to scan the other cosmic signature on the other side, full from start to finish. And this is when I started. I knew what I was going for, but I literally started when I launched the probe scanners to ending when I made that last bookmark, 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Now, if there were wormholes where I didn't, remember I talked about that cheat system, if I didn't have to scan the signature on the other side, it took me 3 minutes and 37 seconds. So, and then just to share with you, out of those 10 scans, 5 out of 10 times, half the time, I did not have to scan that exit signature. And again, we really want to be good Signal Cartel members and get in the habit of scanning down the other side, but probability statistics say in those specific situations you don't have to. So those are my 4 takeaways. Always be moving, multitasking, use the tool, and then kind of the statistics. About a little under 4 minutes per signature is what you should build up to. But I imagine we have plenty of, really Thera mapping veterans here that are probably taking a lot less time, with that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off the stream. I'm going to switch back to Discord. You don't have to. I encourage you to stay just for a few minutes. I have some questions and some kind of little discussion. It's really 5 or 10 minutes that I kind of want to talk about and get a little more kind of information about. So turning this off now.